welcome to our Women's Month podcast series. We'll be speaking to various guests who will inform you on the decisions that you need to consider as a woman in your financial planning. With me today is my guest, Muzaifa Noorbhai, Senior Manager at Alexforbes Financial Planning Consultants. Welcome, Muzaifa.
Thank you, Matla. Thank you for having me.
Muzaifa, tell us a little bit about your background, and then we'll get into what you can say, what you can share to help us empower our purses.
Sure. So I've been in the industry for 19 years, been with Alexforbes for 19 years as a senior financial planner, and then for the last 5 years as a senior manager, looking after financial planning consultants.
Muzaifa, all of that experience would have exposed you to a lot of the issues that women face in financial planning. And so, what is one of the first questions you should ask yourself as a woman doing your financial planning?
So that's a great question, Matla. And first and foremost, I would say it's important that as a woman, you ask yourself, what is your relationship with money and your finances? I think it's very important that women in particular look at their finances a lot closer, and that they understand as well that the journey of financial planning for women has evolved and has come a very long way in comparison to where we were previously. So there's a lot more options that are available today than there was previously, and to empower themselves to be able to take up those opportunities that are now there for them.
And we talk about women taking up opportunities. Can you give some examples, and where can they find help in taking up these kind of opportunities?
So today there's a lot more available on social media and on the internet, and with registered reputable financial services providers. They should actually look to partner with accredited and certified financial advisors so that they can help them navigate through all the options that are available for them in terms of saving, particularly for their goals or for any financial planning needs that they have, as well as for their retirement needs that will be very crucial in their golden years. And Alexforbes does offer accredited financial advisors that are available to assist both men and women, but primarily partnering with you to be able to give you independent advice.
There's a gender gap that's always existed in terms of leadership roles and opportunities in the workplace. What can be done to close this gap? What can women do?
100%. So we've seen this gap has been there for many decades before. The gap used to be very wide, and although it's narrowing down, it's still not at a level where, it should be. More and more women today are taking up careers and building their financial futures. They work in corporates and they take on significant challenges in the workplace. But the gap in terms of the disparity of pay is still there. And there's this pay gap that, women have to start saving more earlier on in their life, because as women, more often than not, you end up taking a break from your career, and that puts a hindrance on your saving capabilities. You see a lot of women that used to exit the workplace to be able to bring up a family and rear a family. They ended up actually using and utilizing those funds that they had saved up. So when they go back to their careers after a good few years, they start from scratch. So a good tip for women would be to start saving more when they just start working, and actually saving double, so that they try to make up for that missed opportunity that they will possibly face as they go forward.
So every rand that a man saves, women might have to
Save double.
How much more?
I would say double, if not triple. And you will see, as women do tend to live longer than men, they do have to save extra for that as well. And as they get close to retirement, that is also more important, that they actually end up saving more towards their retirement savings, because women generally do have the risk of longevity and they do outlive men.
Muzaifa, what tops the list of women's financial goals? Do we know?
We do. So there was a study that was done by Merrill Lynch, and 1/5 of women actually have retirement planning at the top of their financial goals list. Albeit, you end up seeing that there's only actually 32% of women that 32% of women that look at financial independence as supporting their families versus supporting themselves. So it's very important that women actually tend to their finances more differently than what a male would. Now, why do I say this? It's because women in general are more conservative. We tend to be more sort of risk. We don't want to take on a lot of risk. We're more risk averse, and in nature.
Is that why we pay less in insurance premiums?
I would definitely say so, because we're more cautious, right? We err
Right.
more on the side of caution.
Right.
And that's why when it comes to your retirement planning particularly, you have to give importance to it and let it be at the top of your planning list from the onset of your career. We know that, like we said, women are going to live longer. Women earn less generally than men, so they have to make up that pay gap as well. Taking a break from their career forces them to have less in savings. And, just being more conservative, they tend to look at their investments also with a conservative eye. But we know that women have to actually be invested more aggressively towards growth assets to enable their money to be able to grow more and to do more. Especially with them living longer, it's important because that longevity will mean they have to get more paychecks post-retirement than what a male counterpart would. A fact is that, at retirement, if a woman goes into a fixed annuity, she's going to get less of an income than what a male counterpart would get.
So, really, what we're saying is we need to work against our inclination to be more conservative in our investments. What could we do to help us get there?
So there's lots of things that you can do. You can empower yourself to know more, to do better, to upskill yourself in the world of investments. Women today, gone are the days where we were given the money and we kept it in a cookie jar to look after it. We are more liberated today. We have the power, the earning power, and we should utilize that earning power to create multiple streams of income for ourselves, be it from portfolio income to earned income, to even property income. Women today need to be able to have these multiple streams of income, and the best way to navigate all of these options and the decisions they have to take is to partner with an accredited financial advisor that will be able to give them the pros and cons of each option, helping them work a financial plan that is specifically suited to them and what their needs are.
Muzaifa, there's a lot of focus nowadays on holistic well-being, well-being in terms of our health, exercise, getting health checks every year, making sure that mentally and emotionally we're well off. But there's a growing focus as well on financial well-being. And how do the two tie in? How does holistic financial well-being and the well-being of a woman overall tie in? How do the two relate?
So I would actually say, Matla, they are very closely correlated. And the reason I say this is that as you see more and more women going and building on careers in the corporate world, women take on a lot of responsibility and a lot of stress. So you see women managing households, managing careers, balancing and juggling kids, also balancing and juggling their education, and at the same time juggling their finances. Overall impacting that, women's stress levels are much higher generally than men. And you do find that, medical stats do reveal that more and more women, as they grow older, have more and more complications with their health. So very important to make sure that if your financial health as a woman is in order, automatically your overall well-being will have a positive effect. It is closely correlated. And I would say it's not just necessarily for women. I would say overall across individuals, both men and women, that there is a very strong correlation between financial health and your overall well-being. Because in a natural light, Matla, if you don't have your finances in order, at the back of your mind, you already automatically concerned about it, causing you to not be, fully functional at work, fully functional at home, not being present in a conversation. So getting your financial health in order will have a positive impact on your overall well-being, making sure that, holistically your finances are sorted. And that would entail having the conversation with your better half, making sure that you've got financial planning in place for yourself for when you actually get to the retirement stage, having the conversation and the correct, crucial conversation with your partner, and then your estate planning as well, taking care of your children's education and making sure that there will be correct measures in place for them in the event of you not being there.
Is financial planning different for single versus married women? And why?
So I would say that single women actually have a different set of needs when it comes to financial planning, particularly because the sole burden of the finances relies mostly on them, whereas married people generally feel that, I've got a partner. Generally, they feel I've got a partner, I've got a husband. So they will come to the party with, the shortfall, or
They'll
meet
contribute.
me halfway. They'll contribute, which doesn't always end up being the truth. So it's very important for every woman, whether single or married, to have a financial map of your finances and actually where you want to end up in a financial situation. So ideally you want to have healthy finances, you want to have emergency cash available for emergencies, and you also want to have that little bit of a kitty, let's call it a girl's kitty, to be able to splurge on yourself and to spoil yourself and to also spend a bit, but within moderation, and that was budgeted for.
Muzaifa, any closing words or thoughts on how we can empower our purses as women?
So I would definitely say do a financial health analysis on yourself, just as we go to the doctor to get an overall analysis on our health. Approach a financial advisor. Don't be scared. Don't be intimidated by that acquaintance. And they are there to hold your hand and walk the journey with you, to empower you to do a financial analysis on your financial health and see what does your purse need. Do you need to be putting more coins into it, or do you need to be putting more notes into it? And for those that are climbing the corporate ladder, that need to have more structured financial discussions around their estates, around their will, around their actual financial planning needs. So look to be empowered, and that would be the best thing that you can do for yourself. Don't be scared to step ahead and to step forward. Upskill yourself if you have to, and the information is available all over. So just make sure that you empower yourself. It's the best thing you can do.